All right, so I wanted to just do a little voiceover, a few photos here. We really run into a issue with SD card being corrupted and not being able to save files or transfer. Was first of all, here we have the charger and the battery and the winch. The winch battery went bad a week before the car show, so I had offered or agreed to haul a vehicle to the show, and the winch battery was in repair according to that charger, and it never recovered. I did end up buying a new battery later on, not for this show, but later on. Then there was a couple print experiments, just seeing what could be 3D printed, what could be designed, and how long prints would take. Then there was the winch cable itself. So the winch cable itself, or not the winch cable, but the winch controller wires got pinched, and I have a wireless remote and a corded remote. I couldn't find a wireless remote, so I was looking at because I just moved, and I was looking at the corded remote, and I had to fix it. Well, fixing it meant that I could make it longer, which wasn't a bad thing. That was a good thing. But I did that the night before the show because I kept assuming I had the remote because I had the remote. I just used this. I don't know what happened to that remote. It's going to be probably in a box of relevant things that I moved and forgot where I put it. Relevant to a month ago. Then one thing I was working on was just a board, like a picture poster board thing that would have dealer brochures and photos that I've collected for the truck, which was kind of fun to put together. And then hauling the truck itself went very well. The winch did well with the snatch block, cutting the load in half. Then I ran the winch. The battery jumped off the truck battery, so it did fine winching it up on. After this, though, I did make new bars to hold the ramps up because they're wobbly and make a lot of noise. And I did a little tuning on the truck. It was doing fine that day, but it's doing better now, which is just surprising. It was a good day. Then the club award. So I can't remember the details of specific awards for anybody from that day, but I do remember the club participation award. I got to hold on to that award for a while until an upcoming show that it'll be displayed at with others. But that was pretty cool. You know, it was participation, so I guess the most attendance was for the club that I was in. It changes colors. It's pretty cool. It blinks or flashes, or it can fade into multiple colors, and then it's etched, and it's pretty cool. I'm curious to how much it costs to have those made, because they're pretty nice. Runs off USB or runs off battery. So I had it on USB on display there for a couple weeks. Then the downside of this is the camera or the footage is gone, right? So I recorded a lot, and I was actually very happy with what I did, and then it didn't work. I put the card in the computer, and it didn't read it. So all you have is the for fun is I put a camera on Vader, and he's walking around the show. But I did have other video. But we will see some photos, and a little bit of a recap, and then that'll be it, right, for this show. But it was definitely a good one. A day in May is one we will definitely go back to. 78.
Oh, big block.
Yeah, it's a 360 FE big block. So it's not big. I put my hood up and now this goes down all the time.
Well, I put it there because it fell 3 times.
Yeah, I. The other red light was recording, but that was charging. So, today's show was a day in May. Double checking the sticker I have. It was a very good day. From the top down, it was good weather. This morning I was not feeling it. This morning I was like, "What? I don't even want to go. This is dumb. I didn't feel like loading stuff up. I didn't feel good physically. It was once I got rolling, because I've been driving this truck every day to work, so it's not like I couldn't drive. It was just hauling another vehicle, and then my winch battery died and it won't charge up. So I was like, all of a sudden I felt like I wasn't ready to go. And really, what I had said before before the stopped recording, was that I know for me, I haven't been feeling good physically. I have different things going on. It takes away from me being able to work on things, and working on things is what makes me happy. And among other things, long story short, my big recommendation, tip for the day, as I know nobody watches the channel. The channel's tiny. It is growing, which is amazing to me, but it's tiny. And I know that what I wanted out of the channel, I'm not getting that, and it's because I don't have any money. I have a lot of extra money and time at the moment. This year I ended up having to move, so I wasn't able to do any of the things I wanted to do back in June or whatever, when I first thought of starting to do stuff. And it was a real kick in the butt. And this year started off terrible. I won't get into the details of that, but more than one reason, it didn't start off good. And I've been driving this every day to work because I have to, not because I want to. Which isn't the worst worst thing, but it's worse on gas, so I spent more money on gas. And it's less comfortable, so it's just... When I get home from work, I want to sit down after riding this thing. So, going to this show was a big deal. And my tip was, since I can't do tech tips on tools and working on stuff because I don't have any time or money to do that, all I did today was go to this car show. My big tip is, if you are depressed, okay, whether it's diagnosed or you are just not feeling yourself, force yourself to do the things you like to do. Obligate yourself to do it. Commit yourself so you're accountable, held accountable. I didn't volunteer, but I've hauled a vehicle before, and it was asked if I could haul a vehicle again to the car show, one of the club members' vehicles. I said, sure, I'll do that because I can. Why can't I throw it up here and drive? Perfectly capable of doing that. Didn't know the winch battery was going to go bad, but that's not really a problem because I have a battery that runs a truck that I could hook up, and that's what I did. But what that did today, because all week long I was thinking, okay, well, I just don't want to do this. I don't want to go to this show this weekend. I don't have time, I don't have money, I've got chores to do, every excuse to not enjoy yourself. That's what it is. If the things you're thinking of are every excuse to not enjoy yourself, you're wrong. Of course there's things to do, there's responsible things to do, there's chores to do, you gotta, but if you're making excuses to not do things that you that you typically like to do, there's something wrong. You're doing something wrong. Don't do that. Force yourself to do the things you like to do, and it will remind you that is you, that is what you like to do. Saying what's the point or whatever is not, that's not a solution. Now we're going home. All right. The other thing was, people. Go into the backyard here, then I'll talk more. Thing, I don't know, these people do stuff on YouTube because they have somebody with them, they have like a friend with them, because they don't feel stupid. But talking on camera is ridiculous. I'm not the kind of person to record myself or even take a selfie. I don't even like myself in a photo. So being on a camera is really ridiculous to me. I don't like doing it. I don't like uploading it. But I do like doing it, and I do like uploading it. What I don't like is I know that the quality of it isn't what I want it to be yet. And instead of waiting until the quality will be that, because I don't know when or if that'll happen, better sit. Sit, we ain't getting out yet. I'm just starting right now. And part of that is, Vader, we ain't going anywhere. Sit. He's got his harness on. It has a seatbelt thing on it, so he doesn't fall out of the seat. He wants to stand up, and he can stand, but it barely has enough slack to do that because it's supposed to be a seatbelt. All right. Oh, well, so the truck, I got the truck, and I had a Ranger I raced, and I thought I'd get this truck and I'd haul my race car to the track, with this homemade Ram truck idea. And, well, then COVID hit and my friend died that I raced with. So it's like, every time I look at my Ranger, it's just a bummer. Every time I start working on this, it's a bummer. Because the person that I would share the progress with
they're not, I can't send them a text anymore, you know? And I don't know, I never had a ton of friends, just a good few, you know? And I think for guys, it's funny, it's hard to make friends. You know, it's easy to get along with people and get acquainted with people, but it's hard to make a good friend. And when you had a friend for a long time, you're not going to replace that unless you're with somebody else for a long time. And that means if somebody I met today, I am talking to for the next 10 years and building a friendship with, it's a long time. That is a long time to think that you're going to replace a former friendship with somebody else. So, if I'm not going with anybody, I'm not going. So, that's not a solution. That's why I started the channel. Because some of the things that I like to do, I'd like to share with people that I don't even know. I don't know who you are, but if you watch, I hope that you like the videos. And that's the angle that I would like to have, is the video is for the person that I don't know. And it's not for the person, or it's not to be the educational how-to car videos or whatever, like I watch, as I'm not that person. I'm not that expert. I don't have that equipment, and I don't have that money. But I do what I do, and I'm going to record it. And like I said, you know, the big tip from today, I mean, it is what it is. I know myself, and I know that I'm going to avoid doing things I enjoy, unless I have some purpose behind it. And today the purpose was hauling this vehicle to the show. I was in the show too with this, but I didn't even have time to wash it or anything. So, you know, it just was there. And then also I wanted to record the event in some level, you know. And also an extension of the show is I took the truck to the car show. People saw it. They saw the picture frame thing I had. It doesn't tell the whole story. The rest of the story was more exciting, at least for me, which was going down and picking up the Jeep and loading it up and driving over there, unloading, loading back up, driving back, dropping it off. You know, that's like going racing. That was loading up the race truck and going to the track, you know. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy loading a vehicle up and going.